Hey friends, welcome back and welcome to the first episode of A Reader and a Cinephile of 2026. This episode marks the 1 year anniversary of this series. I have learned so much over the past year. Today, I better understand the production process, but I also appreciate what it means to recommend books and movies in this forum. If you have been here since the beginning, watching me work through the kinks, thanks for your patience. If you're brand new, there is absolutely no need to go back and watch my growing pains. Before we can fully close the book on 2025, pun absolutely intended, let's look back on the best book and film of December. Last month, I finished 3 books and watched 22 movies. Of those 3 books, I gave 2 of them 4 stars. Of those 22 movies, I gave 3 of them 5 stars. Taken together, it was an absolute perfect way to end the year. I grew up in Oklahoma. I spent 27 years there. My family and dear friends still live there, and I visit often. In fact, I just got back. In all those years and all the years that have passed since, I have never read The Grapes of Wrath, nor have I read anything by John Steinbeck. In 2025, I expanded my library to include 10 or so Steinbeck books to correct this oversight on my part. My first book in this reading journey actually began with my grandmother's copy of The Grapes of Wrath. As a kid in Oklahoma public schools, you learn about the Dust Bowl. In the care of grandparents, you learn how dire the 30s were for so many. You accumulate stories about those who left and those who remained. My ancestors remained, but countless others left, many of them bound for the promised land of California. This book is their story. Published in 1939, this book has been reviewed and analyzed to the point where I struggle to find anything new to say about it, but I do know this. This story is the best work of fiction I have ever read about poverty. The promise of financial security is always around the next unknown corner. If the geodes are willing to work a little harder, sacrifice a little more, and expect a little more from their fellow man and God above, then all their prayers will be answered. As someone who has personally and admittedly struggled financially and been surrounded by those struggling with homelessness his entire professional career, I can tell you that these promises are rarely realized. This book's supreme achievement is telling the story of poverty in a way that would make the world's most ardent capitalist blush. For this lesson, I cannot recommend it enough. Before the pandemic, I joined the online movie community Letterboxd to track my movie watching life and share my reviews with a broader audience. When I joined, I had a decision to make. Do I spend time logging all the movies I have ever watched, or do I start fresh and begin anew? I chose to start with a clean slate. Since then, I have logged thousands of movies, shared hundreds of reviews, and built dozens of lists, including one where I keep track of all the films I have ever logged 5 stars. Now, since creating this list, I have been on a mission to rediscover old favorites, desperate for a rewatch. One of the newest additions to my favorite films of all time list is a film that I have watched countless times. Every time I watch The Shawshank Redemption, I find myself in awe of it. As I watched it with fresh eyes over the holiday break, I found myself searching for something new to appreciate about it. And then it struck me. I host a quarterly book club, and we just finished reading The Innocent Man by John Grisham. As I read this book, I found myself disgusted with the American criminal justice system and a prison industrial complex more focused on profit and punishment than humanity and rehabilitation. As I watched The Shawshank Redemption, I found myself fixated on the characters imprisoned by a system uninterested in their personal growth. Any growth that they experience in this film comes from within and through each other. Throughout this film, we get countless glimpses at humanity and resilience in the face of an institution that sees them as nothing more than a number. I think this movie also proves that our prison system doesn't work. It breeds distrust, inmate violence, and a form of modern day slavery. It makes me long for a world where we see the innate humanity in every person, even those serving time. Years ago, when I watched this movie for the first time, that wasn't one of the things that landed for me. But this exposes one of my favorite things about revisiting art that has landed powerfully for you. There is always something new to discover in the stories we love. And those are my recommendations for December. As always, thank you so much for hanging out with me for a few minutes. And thanks for spending the last year with me. I truly hope these reviews help you discover new and classic books and movies to enjoy. As always, I want to hear from you. Let me know what books and movies helped you close out 2025. And let me know what is on your horizon for 2026. Finally, if you feel like following along by subscribing or hitting that follow button, it would mean the world to me. Until next time, be good to each other.